She's someone who has received not just 5 or 10 but 12 offers from MNCs, investment bank, big four consultancy firms. She's someone who started her journey with chartered accountancy as a course along with BCom, and then something happened.
I was given 4 bundles and each bundle containing more than 100 invoices. I had started questioning everything. Why I am doing CA? Who asked me to do it? And what if something fraudulent is there? Who will be responsible? It's just my parents told me to pursue CA because my cousin brother was doing it. What if I couldn't clear my final exam after 4 years? I talked to my parents, but they denied it. By that time, I had realized one more thing. If you are taking more than one attempt, doors of big fours are already closed.
You used to call me when you were in Wipro and you had highlighted that the working conditions are not good.
I was very frustrated, not just because of peanut salary, but because of the work as well. And I wanted to get out of it as soon as possible.
If you happen to be an 18-year-old kid or let's say candidate who's starting their career, what you would have done differently, or how would you have strategized or planned your career ahead?
So there were, I think, 4 pointers basis which I decided to go ahead with CMA. So first thing was
Today we have with us Miss Pooja Sohani. She is a certified management accountant, which means CMA US. She is one of my most successful mentees. Her story is something that I share with a lot of students. If I had to tell you, let's say, context in just one line, she's someone who started her journey with chartered accountancy as a course along with BCom, and then something happened because of which she dropped out. We'll explore that today. After that, she opted for CMA US. She patiently grew her experience over time, and today she works in a German investment bank which has an office in Pune. And if I talk about her salary, it is really at a fancy level with a very short amount of experience, I would say, or overtime jo bhi period spent kiya in corporate. At an optimized level, she has nailed it. She's someone who has received not just 5 or 10 but 12 offers from MNCs, investment bank, big four consultancy firms, and similar firms in MNC League. So today I want to explore all the secrets which Pooja holds, and from her story, if we can learn something to build our careers as well. Let's start with welcoming her. Pooja, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Aditya. Thank you for this amazing introduction. So, I am CMA Pooja Sohani. I have completed my MCom. I am US CMA. I carry 5+ years of industry experience. Currently, as you mentioned, I'm working with an investment bank based out of Germany. And previously, I have worked with Northern Trust and Wipro.
So before we start with your beginning part of, let's say, your career trajectory or journey, would you like to share the list of 10 or 12 companies from which you have received offers? I think that is something really exciting part to know.
All right. I'm not sure if I could recall all the companies,
Yes.
but will try my best. So, time being, I can share top 5 names. Crisil, Moody's, BlackRock, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Deutsche Bank, and
I think we had discussed this. Credit Suisse was one more.
Credit Suisse was one more, yes.
So big names on table, but let's understand that how you started with your journey and reached to a level where you were able to achieve this. So when you passed your 10th or 12th, was there any pre-decided notion that I have to go ahead with chartered accountancy or any other specific course?
No, there was no notion as such. It's just my parents told me to pursue CA because my cousin brother was doing it. I decided to go ahead with CA.
Cool. I actually resonate this a lot. This is something that happened with me as well, and happens a lot with my students. That parents are under the impression, okay, this is the best possible course you'll do under commerce.
Yeah.
And why don't you then take it up? But this is something I disagree, but it's my personal opinion. Okay, moving on. So let's say they decided chartered accountancy for you. So you started your preparation after 12th, if I'm not wrong?
Yes, along with 12th, I think I had given CPT exam, which is CA entrance exam. And after this, yes, I started with group 1, group 2 for IPCC.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you dropped out of this course. What happened?
It's an interesting story. So it started with an invoice, bill. So during my articleship, out of multiple tasks, there was something called as auditing. So they had given me bundle of invoices, and there was another book in which all the details were mentioned, like amount, date, etc. I was supposed to check each and every amount and invoice against it. And if there is anything missing, let's say if the amount is not there and invoice is there, or invoice is not there but amount is mentioned in the book, I was supposed to raise it back to the client. And I'm talking about manual invoices and manual book. What do you think? How many invoices I'm talking about? 10, 20, 30?
See, if I'm not wrong, this is called vouching, which a lot of chartered accountants do actually manually. Common practice in SMEs, like small and medium-sized firms, which don't have an ERP, MS or something like that. Or even if they do, some level of manual check
Yeah,
is
manual
required.
checks are important.
But as long as I recall, a lot of articles do this who are in their training period, and daily basis pay, I think 100, 200 or something they have to go through.
I was given 4 bundles, and each bundle containing more than 100 invoices.
Okay, so
So-
400 in total. ठीक है.
So after 3 to 4 hours, I had started questioning everything. Why I am doing CA? Who asked me to do it? And what if I really miss on something? And what if something fraudulent is there? Who will be responsible? Being an article currently, definitely I won't be responsible. But after completing CA, what next?
Okay.
CA will be responsible, right? So I came back home, decided not to continue CA. I talked to my parents, but they denied it.
Okay.
They told me there are other fields, obviously, like taxation is there, or even accounting is there, which I can target. So that time, as I told you, I was already preparing for Group 2. And for Group 1 as well, I had already taken 2 attempts to clear it. So Group 1 I started, I gave 1 attempt, 2 attempt, and after 3 attempts, I cleared my Group 2. By that time, I had realized one more thing. No matter how much you're studying, no matter how good or bad your paper is, but somehow my marks were not reflecting that picture. Just to give you an example, there was one paper. I was very happy when I saw that paper in the exam, because whatever I had studied past 2 days, almost 90% of those questions were in the paper. Bingo, right? So I gave my 100%, came back home. I was very sure that I'll get exemption in that paper. Result came in after few days, and I was shocked to my core because I had not even scored passing mark in that subject. So if you know what is exemption is if in a particular paper you are scoring 60% or more than that, then if you fail in a whole group, you do not need to appear for that paper again. So that was another shock for me. And by this time, I had already completed my graduation. I was out of college, and I calculated that I'll need at least 2 more years to complete my internship, articleship, and to clear the final exam, provided I'll complete it in my first attempt. But considering my IPCC scenario, this was very unlikely. There are other downsides as well. If you are taking more than 1 attempt, doors of Big Fours are already closed. And more the attempts you need, lesser are the chances of getting a good job, getting a good profile, or getting a good salary. Another thing is there is no value to each and every level in CA exam, even though there are 3 levels. Finally, I talked to my parents. I told them I'm not gonna continue CA because getting a job is my priority. What if I couldn't clear my final exam after 4 years? I would be trapped. That's at that time it will be very bad. So better I'll go for a job. I'll search for other relevant courses which are gonna help in my work, and I might pursue them.
Fair enough. But now coming to the main scenario. So how you got introduced to the idea of pursuing US CMA, and how your journey started with the overall preparation? And when was it? Was it along with your BCom, MCom, or anything else?
So I started my CMA along with my job.
So before job, just to clarify, I think you did your BCom, and after that, did you pursue MCom or anything
Yeah, I
else?
pursued MCom.
MCom. And after MCom, you applied for your first job. So how you landed your first job in that case?
I went for walk-ins.
Walk-in interviews.
Yeah.
Okay. Oldest trick in the book, whoever is looking for a job, make sure you have notifications switched on for any walk-in opportunity in your city.
So we were talking about CMA, right? Okay.
No, first job. Have you landed your first job through a walk-in? Do you mind sharing your let's say company name and first salary you got?
Okay, it was Wipro. Salary
Okay.
I will not disclose because
It
it was
was-
peanuts.
It was very low. So I am aware. See, Wipro comes into, they have a wing under BPO and KPO category. And let's say if someone is starting their career after BCom or MCom, in at like to the best extent of my knowledge, as far as I know, the salary is somewhere around 12,000 and 18,000, depends on the CTE profile, everything. But yeah, that's an approximate range which fresh graduates get. Correct me if I'm wrong.
12,000, it's still a big number.
12,000 still a big number. Okay.
At that
But-
time.
but this
that
was
might
back
have
in-
changed now.
Yeah, that was back in
Yeah,
2018,
just 3-4 years ago,
right?
5 years ago. Yeah.
2018 or 2019, if I'm not wrong. So let's say you got into Wipro and then you decided to pursue CMA.
So that story again started with invoicing.
Hmm.
So my first job, it was in accounting in MNC based out of India. So my work was, we used to get invoices from clients in a picture format, and we were supposed to enter those detail into system. That's it. No value addition, no learning, nothing. And I was very frustrated, not just because of peanut salary, but because of the work as well. And I wanted to get out of it as soon as possible. So I started researching. I went through all the Indian courses, multiple foreign certifications as well. And I think that time I reached out to you. So meanwhile, my parents, they were very supportive. They were like, बस हो गया अब पुणे आ जाओ वापस घर.
Okay.
Basically, I'm not from Pune, so they were asking me to come back home because they were saying, why are you starting another certificate? You will do the same thing. You will leave it in the middle. You will do the repetition of your CA story. You will not be able to do anything. You do not even have a good job. You are a complete failure. And that time I remember we also connected and we brainstormed around various certifications, and then from you I got to know about US CMA, and we finalized it. So there were, I think, 4 pointers basis which I decided to go ahead with CMA. So first thing was duration. It was gonna take hardly an year to complete whole course, and there was no articleship. I was able to do it alongside my job. Secondly, cost effectiveness. Compared to other foreign certifications, CMA cost is really low. Third is global recognition, because I always wanted to work with MNCs. I think I wanted to work in finance field as well. So that was the fourth reason. And also I got to know at that time that I can use that CMA credential along with my name. You will laugh at me now, but for a girl who was just a CA dropout, it was a big thing.
Okay. Fair enough. Reflecting back on our conversation again, I recall, I think you were in a really stressed condition, and I had kind of given a challenge, or rather asked for 1 year to turn around her story. Because I know usually I've seen that girls who leave their education in between end up getting married very early, and then they miss out on opportunity to be independent or self-dependent, and that can be challenging in coming times. So that was one thing I was pushing. Okay, give yourself another chance, give another year at least, things will turn around. And I'm happy that they did eventually. So let's say you decided for your CMA thing. What did you opt for? Did you join any class, or was it a self-study thing that you opted for?
I self-studied, obviously with the support of you as my mentor. So you provided me immense support throughout my journey. You literally drafted my study plan. You helped me find out the best material. I think I studied using Hawk. Then your exam strategies, your study strategies worked out so well that I could complete my both parts of CMA within first attempt, that too in a span of 6 to 7 months. So again, if you check my results, if you see my result card, there is something interesting. You will see a date of part 2 somewhere in the month of July and date of part 1 in October. So now whoever is already pursuing CMA, they will wonder how, because in the month of July, there is no exam window. So it was a COVID era, and my May attempt got cancelled, and they hadn't even provided me revised date. So that was very frustrating again, because I was already working. Even though I was working from home, I was literally spending minimum 10 hours every day working, and I was utilizing each and every hour of weekend to study US CMA. And there were just hardly 3 to 4 days for the exam, and I got an email from IMA that my exam got postponed with no revised date. So again, I was literally unable to start part 1 study as well, because what if the exam date is in the coming 10 days, and what if I forget whatever I have studied for part 2 if I start with part 1. So I literally kept on revising whatever was there in part 2, and appeared for the exam. And after giving my exam, I did not wait for results because I did not want to miss that October attempt for part 1. So hardly 3 months were remaining, and part 1, it is very lengthy, it is difficult, but
As compared to part 2, it
yeah.
is difficult.
Yes. And being my mentor, you accepted that challenge, and again you prepared my study plan. You considered my strong area, that is costing. So basically I have studied costing for almost 4 years. So costing was my specialization during my graduation and post-graduation. You created that study plan, and I followed whatever you asked me to do. You had asked me to solve support package, you had asked me to give mock exams. There were again exam strategies like how to tackle easy, difficult and medium level difficult questions. You had asked me to save at least 15 minutes from MCQ section to utilize it for case studies. Even in the case study section as well, I followed your tip. So I submitted the paper, and within a few days, I was officially US CMA.
Okay, glad to hear that. So just to build some context, I've been mentoring students since 2018, as soon as I joined Deutsche Bank after BCom. And somewhere around 1.5 years down the line, I started taking up one-on-one mentorship with students who were interested in pursuing CMA, because I had completed my CMA back then. She's one of my early, I would say, mentees who reached out, and she used to connect with me once in every 3 months. And whenever there was exam, any preparation, any hurdle, has to make sure that she gets the right direction where she needs to put in her efforts. So I know she's highlighting a lot that you have given me this, that, but it's her own credit, her own efforts. I just made sure that she's going ahead in the right direction. She's not spending time where it isn't required. Being a working professional, you don't have much time during your weekdays. Ideally you can spend an hour or two during weekdays and maybe 3-4 hours during weekends. So as an aggregate, you get around 10 to 15 hours of study in a week. So whenever you are putting in such limited time, we need to make sure that it is utilized in an optimized manner. Another story that I recall from your experience is that you used to call me when you were in Wipro, and you had highlighted that the working conditions are not good, the management is not good, you're not learning much. So what should be your next step? And rather, the money was not good as well. And I usually highlight this to all the students that whenever you're working for the first 2 years of your experience, it should be either good learning or getting a good brand on your CV, which is somewhat equivalent of at least getting some decent amount of money as salary. Now, both weren't there, but Wipro was somewhat known. So I think my suggestion was that after getting into Wipro, immediately start looking for the next job possible.
Right.
But by the time you land another offer, please continue working in Wipro. That is something to, we need to do to kill time, but add some experience on our CV as well. So I think that worked really well. But when we talk about CMA, did you start your CMA during your Wipro days, or you took a switch and then started CMA?
So I was very actively looking for a switch, and from Wipro, I went to Deutsche Bank. It was a contractual role. I think you only had referred me, and this is how I got into Deutsche Bank. And after this, it was 6 months contract role. So then I went to Northern Trust, and that was also with a referral.
Okay.
And
just to highlight, she really nailed it when it comes to showing your performance. So even though it was a contractual 6-month role, her manager was so impressed that he wanted to actually get her on team full time with Deutsche Bank. But there was a hiring freeze going on. Deutsche was going through a rough patch. So her manager referred her to another team in Northern Trust, where he had some contacts. And I think that's how you landed your first full-time, a good profile job in Northern Trust.
Yeah, I would say that.
So you mentioned that you were in Wipro, then you took a switch into Deutsche Bank through a referral. But at what exactly point you started your CMA prep, and if you are open to sharing your study routine as well, would you like to share it with, let's say, our viewers?
So I was in Northern Trust that time when I actually started with CMA preparation.
Northern Trust. So from Deutsche Bank, you took a switch to
Yeah,
Northern Trust. Okay.
I was in Northern Trust. I used to get hardly 1 or 2 hours every day.
Okay. So during your weekdays,
Sorry.
how did you study? Means, did you start with reading, watching video lectures, or anything else?
Yeah, I watched videos, I took a notes, and after every video, you had asked me to solve at least 12 MCQs. And I was supposed to check my accuracy as well. If it is below 80%, I was supposed to revise everything again. And if it is above 80%, then I was good to go. So this is how I completed whole syllabus. And after this, I think I have solved more than 2000 MCQs for each part. I have also solved support package twice, and then at the same time I was giving mock exams as well. And mock exam scores also, you had given some percentage. If I'm scoring 80%, I'm good to give exam. If I'm scoring below that, then I need to postpone my attempt.
ठीक है. So just to highlight, back in the day, when video lectures were released by, let's say, any publication, those were short videos. So a couple of concepts together, then a question bank would show up. That's why the number quoted by Pooja is 12. If you talk about lectures right now, it ideally covers a chapter. So when you are, let's say, covering a chapter, the number has gone up to 30 or 40 MCQs at least per chapter, making sure that your understanding is at a good level and tested well through n number of MCQs as well. Second thing, when you have some background in finance, watching video lectures, if they're good enough, it does the work for you. That's how I am creating lectures at FinStreet. A lot of students reach out to me saying that, sir, we are just not able to focus, we are not able to read. I used to tell them, Acha, then what's your, let's say, screen time, delete Instagram, make sure you're meditating, focusing. But that wasn't the ultimate solution. So we got to a level where we internally decided at FinStreet that we will make such robust lectures based on textbook, so that a student doesn't have to read textbook. He can just go through my lecture, which is, I assume, interesting and engaging enough. But after going through the lecture, you don't have to read a textbook. You can directly go to the MCQs, test yourself. Let's say if your understanding is not up to the mark, there's a option B session or lecture recorded through slides or summarized manner. You can refer to that and then attempt questions. Ideally, after referring to the summary lectures and full length lectures, most of the students, I would say more than 90% of the students, get majority of the MCQs correct. 80% is our internal benchmark. And ideally, after completing this, a student can move on to, let's say, sectional test, or ideal next chapter as well. Anything works. I've kind of improved it over time, but I think that is the fundamental stays the same. Your understanding should be up to the mark. Move to the testing part. 7 days after that, there should be revision, and 21 days after that, there should be second round of revision. It's a scientific pattern derived through multiple experiments, and 7 plus 21 is a good rule to retain whatever you're studying over time. So again, something I would pass on, that whenever you're studying something, after 7 days there should be one round of revision, and after 21 days from that 7th day there should be another round of revision. Yeah,
As you rightly mentioned, even I did not read textbooks. I tried, but it was too boring, and I was just not able to understand whatever was written in it. So I remember I used to come to you for any difficult concepts or difficult question, and you used to explain me in such a good manner.
okay. Yeah, I should have charged you, yaar, itna credit mil raha hai. Yeah, I used to do pro bono mentorship, by the way, back in those days. So coming back to your story, so you completed your CMA and I think you were working in Northern Trust throughout.
Yes.
So did it help in your, let's say, existing job back then? Was there any promotion on the table after completing CMA? Did you get any salary hike internally?
Yeah, passing CMA turned out so well that when I told them that I have completed my CMA, I got promoted.
Okay.
And at the same
so from
time,
analyst to senior analyst
yes,
level.
yes.
Okay.
And at the same time, we had planned my career switch as well.
Okay.
So that time I remember just after passing CMA exam, you had created my resume, and I think we had taken 2 to 3 days to create that resume. You had also helped me with mock interviews with ideal answers of questions and everything. And I was just applying to multiple companies as per your guidance. Everything was planned so well that almost within a month, I had received offers from 12 companies.
See.
And by that time, I was also promoted into Northern Trust, and Meanwhile, I had accepted offer from another company, and I remember from those 12 offers, few of them were from your referrals as well. So, yeah.
I'll tell you behind the scenes from this incident as well. You know, after completing CMA, she was being impatient. Ki, Aditya, I want a switch right away. I'm done working over here because the working conditions weren't that good. You know, working 10, 12 hours in any role, that too in a repetitive manner, can be testing. But I had asked her that your promotion is so close. You have completed CMA, you have already around 2.5 or 3 years of experience. If you take a switch right now, you will get around, let's say, 30, 40, 50% increment maximum. But if you take increment internally, so internally you will get 30 to 50% increment, and then you switch, you will get additional 30 or 50% on that. So it would be double benefit. And that's why I asked her to be patient, spend 6 more months in her current role at Northern Trust, make sure you get that promotion in place. Once you're at a SA level with existing increment, then she could apply outside and make sure she gets another round of increment. So she did that. She got promoted, and I was in IIM Lucknow at that time, and I had just learned how to make a CV, professionally, well packed, in a very let's say ATS compliant and impressive manner. I had that IIM Lucknow tag, so of course I was getting shortlist for my internships and other live projects. But I wanted to test that pattern on her as well. So I said that Pooja, make a draft CV and just send it to me. I want to make your CV myself using the STAR method and everything I had learned at IIM Lucknow. And we tried that. Okay, her CV came through. I sat with her for 2 days on Zoom, I still recall, and we were spending almost 20 to 30 minutes on just each line of CV, making sure there are numbers added, it is super impressive, it complies with all required keywords, everything is up to the mark. Once we made the CV, I had also got to know that the hiring pattern, how it is changing over time, and what kind of keywords are required, what kind of tools or software names are required. I had inserted that as well, and I had simultaneously asked her, okay, you complete the certifications, I'm adding the names right away. Once we get a shortlist, we'll make sure that everything is in place.
Yeah, I remember completing 3 to 4 certifications that time, like to improve my technical skills.
Exactly. So she did that, and once she started applying, to our surprise, within a week she started getting callbacks, and there were some really big names which I haven't been able to land back then before IIM Lucknow, and I was so impressed. To some extent, I was surprised as well. Okay, how is this happening? But the profile was so up to the mark. There weren't many jumps. She was just promoted. Everything just felt right into the place where it should be. And I think eventually she had shortlisted 2 companies out of that, and the one who had better role, better package, I think you went ahead with that. If I'm
Yeah,
not
location was another
location was
factor.
another factor. Yeah, you had one offer from Mumbai and one from Pune. You opted Pune given that you were settled here already.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cheek. Now coming to the salary part, are you open sharing your salary range in, let's say, so Wipro, we have some idea. In Northern Trust, what was it? And maybe in the German investment bank where you are working?
I'll put it in this way: after completing CMA, so it was like 300% jump on my current amount. I'm considering everything like promotion and
So Northern
industry
Trust,
hike as
so
well.
Northern Trust, you were receiving X amount.
Huh.
Along with the internal promotion and taking switch, you ended up getting 3x of what it was in
Correct.
Northern Trust to start with.
Correct.
Okay, that's impressive. Would you like to tell in terms of, let's say, a lot of YouTubers tell ke I make
Yeah, I
one
can-
nano a month or one iPhone a month.
I can
Okay.
easily buy one iPhone every month.
Every month.
Yeah.
Okay, impressive enough. That's good, yeah. You can pay me for the tuitions I took back then. But yeah, okay. No, yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just so happy to see where you are right now. I have given your example to so many students, because a lot of students come to me and tell me ke, Bhaiya, we are becoming a CMA right out of college. So abhi ke abhi we are expecting 5 lakh, 6 lakh, 8 lakh ka packages. And these are some false promises made by some industry players who take coaching in this sector, which is very wrong. I usually tell students that after completing 2 exams, you're not a CMA. There is at least 2 years of experience required to build that expertise, to build that industry value and relevance. Then you can step out and expect a premium salary. But for first 2 years, ideally a student needs to be patient, consider job as part of their learning experience again, which is adding value to what you have learned in CMA. Then you are a complete package, and then you can encash your value, whatever is in the market. Coming to most critical part, your career ahead. Knowing what you know by now, there are two things I want you to answer if you are comfortable doing so. Number one, what are your career plans for next 5 to 10 years? Someone at sitting at your level, your status, how would they plan next 5 to 10 years to make the most out of their career?
I will prefer not to answer this right now.
Okay.
We'll have another podcast after 5 years, and
I don't
that
mind that.
time we'll reveal.
Chalega. Cool, but let's take it another way then. Let's say, knowing what you know right now, if you happen to be an 18-year-old kid, or let's say candidate who's starting their career, what you would have done differently, or how would you have strategized or planned your career ahead, given your current level of knowledge, maturity, and everything, understanding about the industry? If you are 18 again, how would you plan it?
So first thing, I would have found a mentor like you.
Okay.
Secondly, whatever guidance I have received from you, I would have applied it that time. Like I would have started with US CMA after my 12th. I would have also researched for other add-on certifications just to enhance my technical skills. Would have completed those, and after 1 year, I would have applied for internship. I would have ensured that when I'm out of college after completing my graduation, I have very strong resume. I have CMA in my resume with some internship experience to show with relevant skills. I would have ensured that I'm 100% ready to grab the best offer out in the industry. Corporate में there is a term कि अगर शुरुआत अच्छी हो तो फिर आगे growth ही growth है.
Okay, makes sense. Again, to break down, let's say if you had met mentor like me, I give usually students a very easy formula. Okay, let's say you have 3 to 4 years of your graduation. In first year of your BCom, go light. Participate in all the events, whatever fun events are happening in your college. Make sure you network with your with your fellow students. You enhance your social skills. Between FY and SY, target impact internship or volunteering where you work with an NGO. You build some leadership skills, and empathy being the most important among them. During your second year and third year, target completing at least one professional certification, something like CMA or any certification as per your career preference ahead. Between second and third year is the best time to target a corporate internship where you at least get a good name or good profile on your CV. After completion of your third year, target the best offers available in the market, either through referrals or walk-ins or campus placements or campus drives. During third year, you have to spend some time on polishing your profile as well. Here you could spend some time on completing certifications which are very much relevant in current market. I think that's a very decent formula to have. After completion of your BCom, target a job. Spend around a year or two learning whatever there is in your job. It could be just as simple as corporate mannerisms or something in depth that the role offers. It could be technical expertise. It could be some product level, service level expertise. Anything that you're learning in your first earlier time of your career definitely helps. But I think that was a very wholesome conversation with Pooja. I think she has shared a lot of insights along with her, I think, corporate journey, her CMA exam study preparation routine, how she enhanced her salary over time with multiple jumps. I think we have our secret for 3x increment now, how we can achieve that. And we still await K in next 5 years, what exciting things she does. And we would love to have you again back after 5 years when you'll be at a much senior position. And not just that, I'm counting on you to hire, referral though you are doing already for us. Thanks a lot for that. But even hire students from FinStreet when you will be part of a senior position in let's say any given company. So thank you so much for being part of this podcast and helping our viewers, subscribers, students with all your experiences and learnings. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Aditya. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Great. And make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. You'll be getting more such episodes. We have experts coming in from FMCG and SaaS industry who are CMAs, who have done amazing work, and they'll be sharing their insights soon. So don't miss out on the next episode. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.